from right now, our code is 21. The state allows 18. We would still have 21-year-olds would still have to mix, pour, and sell the liquor, but this would allow 18-year-olds to actually serve it to the table.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Gately?
Yes.
Trustee Lowry?
Yes.
Trustee Covino?
Yes.
Item 2, Steve.
Thank you. Item number 2 is going to change our liquor licenses to add a new classification, which is our new L license, which is going to stand for limited use. What that's going to do is it's a little confusing, so the easiest way I can say it is there's 3 separate sections, L1, L2, L3. L1 is now our salon license, which is, we've already had one, so that was our Class K. It will now become Class L1, and that's for salons who want to sell beer or wine as part of their service packages. L2 is going to be for art exhibitions or galleries. So we have a business in town who does tattoo parloring, and we've heard from, I believe, both of our tattoo parlors that they also exhibit art, and they've wanted to have events at their establishments, art exhibits basically of what they have that they sell on the walls. This would allow them to actually, for $500 a year, they would get a license that would allow them to have these types of art exhibits at their establishments. And then the L3 is an art events license, and we have a new business that is opening up, I believe, in September at the Clock Tower Plaza. Their premise is that they are one of the places where you can go and do crafts like painting and woodwork and things like that. And part of the motif there is that you can drink while you do it, and it's an instructional class. So almost like you get a group of people and you want to learn how to, paint a pitch or something. So 10 of you go and you take a class there, and you can have a glass of wine while you do it. That's what the L3 license is.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion.
So this is like temporary, they're not selling liquor all the time, it's just for special events.
Exactly. So the L2 and L3 license have to be tied in directly to. In L2, it has to be tied into an exhibition or a gallery exhibit. And the L3, it has to be tied into an instructional class. So it can't just be like, we're not teaching today, but you can come in and have a glass of wine.
These are annual licenses, though. They're not temporary licenses. So they'll have to get a state retail license and an annual village license, and the limitations are built into the class. So, if somebody exhibits art all the time, they could sell, if they exhibit and sell art, they could also sell alcohol, but if it's...
Like every night or
Yeah.
whatever, there's no limit?
As long as they're exhibiting and selling the art, but if that's all they do, that's one thing. But if there's like some other service or product that they also sell, then the counter for the liquor has to be separate from everything else. And if there's like a dedicated room for the art exhibit, that's where the bar would have to be for the liquor.
It's pretty well spelled out, so that if somebody violates that, it's easy for us to go in and say, hey, you're violating, and you have to have a different kind of license to do what you're doing. So it's all spelled out. Actually, Kevin's done a fantastic job on this. You'll see that, all the our licenses have been, and L means limited, isn't that something? All right. Any other discussion? The clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Gately?
Yes.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Lowry?
Yes.
Trustee Covino?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know, under 3. Steve, we're on
Item
3
number
yet.
3, as the mayor had just said, L stands for limited. Is, if you recall, we made some liquor code changes a couple months ago, and we tried to make the classes more easily recognizable, so that basically we put restaurants in restaurant classes, bars in bar classes, golf courses and gas stations got their own version of a class. So it's a little confusing because until our liquor licenses go out next year and renew, everyone's still under the old letter system. So on this one, what happened is the BP gas station on Route 31 was a Class E license, They are now they sold their business. So what happened is they want a new liquor license. It's going to go from Class E to Class G, which is the new gas station license. So that we have to decrease the E licenses by 1 and increase the G license by 1. And also in this is there was a change of ownership at the Little Red Schoolhouse. That was a Class B tavern license. So we're going to drop 1 in the Class B. We're going to add 1 to the new Class T license, which is for tavern.
T for tattoo?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Gately.
Yes.
Trustee Lowry.
Yes.
And Trustee Gafino.
Yes.
Okay, item number 4, Chief Fisher.
Thank you, Mayor. Staff is seeking the authorization to purchase UHF and VHF squad car radios to replace radios that are outdated or damaged. I'm requesting to replace all the squad car radios that are currently installed. The current radios are well over 15 years old. Some of them don't work at all, or some of them work on a limited basis. None can be repaired because parts are no longer made. The current radios only receive VHF frequency, which means we cannot communicate with police departments in the surrounding area whose radios work off of the UHF frequency, which is, I know, all of the Tri-Cities and I believe the Kane County Sheriff's Office. In the case of a mass incident, officers would not be able to communicate with any of those assisting agencies, which would add to the confusion. With our emergency management plan calling for interoperability, these radios would provide that since they have both UHF and VHF capabilities. And with the current radios, we can't talk to Public Works either here in town. The new radios would allow communications with them. We received a quote through Minor Electric, who currently installs and services all of our electronic equipment on the department squads, which came in at $15,842. That includes all the equipment as well as the cost of installation. Public Works, I know, purchased their radios through Minor, and Minor recently installed a repeater and antenna inside of our police department building, which is what these would bounce off of. With the radios, there would be compatibility with the other equipment, such as the antenna and other electronics, which are already installed in the squads. An original quote of over $65,000 was obtained for a single unit radio that gets both of those frequencies. But when we talked to Minor to get the quote, he suggested the two, since we have room in the squads, 2 smaller radios, one a VHF radio and one a UHF, or one a VHF and one a UHF. That way you could get them both. But the cost, $65,000 compared to $15,000. So we, of course, decided to go with the 2 separate units. So I'm requesting the radios in the cost of $15,842, which is all of the equipment and the installation. We did budget for this year's budget $19,000 for the project, so it did come in a little bit lower than what we had planned on.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Clerk call the roll.
You're able to communicate with Public Works, or the same types of radios, or?
The radios that they got, which they got through Minor, work off of a different frequency than that are in-car radios. So, as of right now, we cannot.
But you will be able to.
We will be able to, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's good. We went with the UHFs, I don't know how many years ago. Has it been that long? But same as Aurora and Naperville. So everybody else is still on the VHF. And they're all going to have to go to UHF. At some
Yeah,
point.
I would think so. Yeah,
It's all
because now with like emergency management plans, everybody's trying to get on board so that you can
Gotta get
communicate with
digital.
just about anybody.
Any other discussion?
No.
Clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Lowry.
Yes.
Trustee Gafino.
Yes.
Trustee Carroll.
Yes.
Trustee Gately.
Yes.
Item 5, David.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 5 is seeking approval for the purchase of police squad cameras. The lifespan of our squad camera systems in our all of the units that we drive are 6 to 7 years old, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's actually old. They're designed not to go much longer than that. They've been in service for that long, harsh environments, and unfortunately they're failing to consistently work. A lot of times we're taken from one to fix another one, from a lesser driven car to a more driven car. Staff spec'd out the requirements for the replacement cameras and spoke with several surrounding departments, vendors, and our current installer, which is Minor Electric. WatchGuard is the brand that was most highly recommended. they're superior in quality and features, and fortunately, they were awarded the state contract for police squad cameras. We received a quote for all the hardware and software in the amount of $77,224 from the state bid contract pricing. We had budgeted $85,000 for the project. Staff also applied for a reimbursement grant from the Kane County DUI Task Force in the amount of $22,000 to help offset it. And just this past Thursday, after the packets were already put out, I went to their task force meeting, and we were awarded $22,616 from the DUI task force to help offset costs. We requested a quote from Minor Electronic for the installation. The quote came in at $5,100, and that's for all 12 cars and all 12 cameras, which comes out to $425 a car. The estimated cost for the entire project is $82,324. After the grant, it comes down to $59,708, and this includes with the grant applied, and the money would come out of our DUI fund. That's the line item that most of the rest of the money would come out of. As we know, squad camera systems have proven to reduce frivolous lawsuits, unjustified complaints against officers. It provides transparency for the community, officer safety training, and improves conviction rates. So I'm seeking approval for the purchase of the cameras.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Trustee Gately?
Yes.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Lowry?
Yes.
Trustee Gafino?
Yes.
And item number 6, David.
Thank you, Mayor. And lastly, staff is seeking authorization to share costs with the Village of Montgomery regarding New World software maintenance. We currently share a record management system with the Village of Montgomery. Montgomery has the servers, computer servers housed in their police department, and we log on and we're able to do our record-keeping system. By the end of the year, Montgomery's moving their record management system to the Kendall County Sheriff's Office, therefore no longer needing to keep the record system servers in their building. By making this move, we would no longer have access to any records currently kept on the Montgomery server. Montgomery's going to move their record system over to the Sheriff's Office server, which will allow them access to their old records. In order to have access to our old records, everything that is archived as of the point when they move over, we'd have to do the same thing and have our records transferred over to the Sheriff's Office as well, where they will stay on a live server, a maintained server that we could tap into. Without doing that, we wouldn't be able to get to our archived records, reports, or anything that would be on Montgomery's old server. And the service agreement will end once Montgomery moves over. So if that server crashed the day after they moved over, we'd never be able to get to our old records, which is important when it comes to like expungements and looking up past histories and stuff like that. The total cost of having all the records transferred over is $27,240. We would be responsible for half of that. Montgomery would pay the other half. We would pay one half of $13,620. And that's what I'm seeking approval for the payment of half of that bill.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Trustee Gately?
Yes.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Lowry?
Yes.
Trustee Gafino?
Yes.
Item number 7, Mr. Toth.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 7, staff is seeking approval to allow Mueller to proceed with the design of the structural repairs as well as the lighting design features to the silo at a cost of $54,000, $583.80. This is the first go-around with Mueller, if you recall, was the strategic planning session we'd had with them. They developed the concept plan, which included the park layout. This phase is going a little more in depth with a lot of the engineering work, the lighting design, and also the structural repairs to the silo itself. This was a budgeted amount for engineering. Also, too, there was budgeted amount for construction through the Route 31 TIF. We did go back at some of the pricing that's shown on the staff report here. We had budgeted originally $50,000 for engineering. You see we're slightly over that mark, but we did go back to Mueller and have them select a different structural engineering group, which is WBK. for a total savings. We were to bring it down $6,700. And then with the lighting engineers, it's a very niche market, so we were kind of having to move forward with them. But they are one of the best in the area. They had done Rivers Edge Park. So the board approves this. The next step would be to work with the Mueller as project management here, and they would design the concept lighting plans and structural repairs, and we bring that concept plan back to the board for further review.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion. Clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Gately?
Yes.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Lowry?
Yes.
Trustee Gafino?
Yes.
Item number 8, Mr. Bosco.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 8 is NORDA's request to do a movie in the park. As you recall, this was in front of the board in July. They canceled it due to the threat of inclement weather, so they'd like to reschedule for August 12th. This would be a village-sponsored event. And in the future, when we do these events with NORDA, what we're thinking of doing in case of inclement weather is granting them more leeway so they don't have to come back every time a day changes for the whole summer for these types of things. But for now, this is for August 12th, so next Sunday, movie in the park, Back to the Future.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Lowry?
Yes.
Trustee Gafino?
Yes.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Gately?
Yes.
Item number 9, Steve.
Item number 9 is to actually, resolution to designate it a village-sponsored event, and by doing so, that allows BYOB in the park.
Motion approved.
Second.
Discussion. Clerk call the roll, please.
Trustee Gafino?
Yes.
Trustee Lowry?
Yes.
Trustee Carroll?
Yes.
Trustee Gately?
Yes.
All right, the next item we have is an executive session, so we're going to ask our guests to leave for a few minutes, and then we'll come back, and then we'll continue the rest of the meeting.